Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Riaz Hussain and this is our lecture number 21 from the course Applied Chemistry. In this lecture, we will discuss water treatment process for municipal purpose. Municipality is the area which includes cities, towns, and villages. People of the municipality, or we can say people of the resident of municipality, use water for various purposes. Water is used for drinking purposes, for washing purposes, for for bathing purposes as well as for cooking purposes. The water supplied to the municipality is subjected to necessary treatment so that impurities present in the water can be removed before supplying to the municipality. In this lecture, we will discuss those treatment process which are applied to the water which is supplied to the municipality. Key concepts. First of all, we will discuss introduction. Then we will discuss objectives of water treatment, where the water is treated to remove the impurities before supplying to the municipality. Then we will discuss conventional water treatment plant layout. After this, we will discuss various methods of purification of water. These methods includes screening, plain sedimentation, sedimentation aided with coagulation, then filtration. After discussing filtration, we will discuss disinfection. If the germs, microorganisms are present in the water, then how these germs and these microorganisms can be killed. After this, we will discuss aeration, and at the end we will discuss softening of water. If the water supplied to the municipality is hard water, then before supplying to the municipality, this water is subjected to the softening process. When the water becomes softer, then it is supplied to the municipality. So, in this lecture, we will cover all these topics. Water treatment is the process of making water suitable or making it acceptable for an end use. During treatment process, contaminants are present in the water are removed and reduces their concentration, that the water becomes fit for its desired application. The amount and type of treatment process depends upon quality of raw water and various standards required after treatment. It means the treatment process used to treat the water before supplying to the municipality depends upon its end use. Objectives of water treatment. The objectives of water treatment are to produce water that is safe for human consumption. The water which is supplied to the municipality is subjected to treatment before supplying to the municipality so that the water can be made safer for human consumption. Water can be made, water is processed, water is treated to remove various contaminants so that it become appealing aesthetically to the consumer, and the processing cost of the water should be reasonable so that the people of the residents of municipality can afford it easily. Conventional water treatment plant layout. This slide is showing the different units of water treatment plant. The raw water is supplied to the first unit of the water treatment plant, that is the screening unit. In this unit, water is screened. So before discussing the functioning of different units of water treatment plant, we should discuss the sources of raw water. The sources of raw water includes groundwater. This is the main source of the raw water. The groundwater is pumped out for the use by the people of the municipality. The other sources of the raw water includes seawater, river and canal water, and as well as the rainwater. The rainwater during raining is collected in a ponds in a field, and then it is supplied to the municipality after subjecting through processing. The first unit is the screening unit. The raw water is supplied to the screening unit. The main contaminants, the solid objects present in the raw water, are screened out, I mean the removed from the water in the screening unit. The second unit of the water treatment plant is the coagulation unit. In this unit, some suspended particles are removed by adding some coagulants. The coagulants include alum or the ferric sulfate and some chemicals. The next unit is flocculation unit. In this unit, the smallest suspended particles become suspended particles are removed in this unit. Then the water from flocculation unit is subjected to sedimentation unit. From the sedimentation unit, water supplied to the filtration unit. Then water is supplied from filtration unit to disinfection unit. In this unit, the germs and the microorganisms are killed, and then water subjected to storage unit, where the water which contain the contaminants up to the desirable amount is stored in a storage tank and then distributed to the municipality upon demands. Various steps involved in water treatment process. Water treatment process consists of following steps, which includes screening, plain sedimentation, sedimentation aided with coagulation, filtration, disinfection, aeration, and softening of water. I mean the process of removal of hardness of water if required. The first two steps were discussed in our previous lecture, I mean lecture of the last week. Screening is the first step which is involved in water treatment process. In this step, water is passed through screens. Screens stops the undesired particles whose size is greater than the pore size of the screen, and only allows the water molecules, water particles, and the desired particles whose size is less than the size of the screens to pass through it. After screening process, the water is allowed to pass through the second step, that is plain sedimentation step. In this step, the water is stored in the large reservoir where it is provided a time to allow the undesired particles to settle down in the bottom. And in this lecture, I mean the today lecture, we will discuss sedimentation aided with coagulation in detail. After this, we will discuss filtration, disinfection, aeration, and softening. Sedimentation aided with coagulation. Sedimentation aided with coagulants comprises of three steps. The first step is addition of measured quantity of chemicals, that is called coagulants, to water and their thorough mixing. In this step, a chemical that is called coagulant will be added to the water and mixed thoroughly. The coagulants will be added in measured quantity. The second step is the formation of precipitate, which coagulates and forms a flux. In this step, as the coagulants will be added to the water, as a result of addition of coagulates, the precipitate will be formed. These precipitates gather around with each other and form a large particle whose density will be greater than the density of the water and will be settled down. The large particles which is formed by the combining of the smaller particles is called flux. So this process is called flocculation. And the last step is the sedimentation. In the sedimentation, the water in containing flux and suspended particle will be allowed to settle down in the reservoir. As a result, the flux will settle down and the water is removed, which will be free from the flux. Types of mixing devices. Mixing basins with baffle valves. The diagram is showing the mixing basins with baffle valves. When the coagulants in measured quantity is added to the water, then the coagulants will be mixed thoroughly. With different types of mixing devices are used for this purposes. The device appearing on the slide is the device which is called mixing basins with baffle valves. This is the device which contain baffles. These are the baffles which are attached with the valves of the devices. From here, this is the inlet of the raw water and coagulant. From here, the coagulant and the raw water is entered, and these baffles mix the coagulant with the raw water. The raw water passages shown by the arrows. Water came from here, entered from here, and moved in this way. During movement through this device, which is called mixing basin with baffle valves, the impurities present in the water converted to the precipitates. These precipitates gather around and form a large particles whose density greater than the density of the water, which is called flux. The smaller flux will stuck with each other and gives us larger flux. And these flux pass through this device, and this is the outlet of the water which leads the water to the flocculator unit. So this is the device which is used for the mixing of coagulants with water. This is another device which is called mixing basins equipped with mechanical devices. If the device equipped with baffles is not used, then this device, which is called mixing basins equipped with mechanical devices, is used. This is the inlet. From here the water entered into this device. This is the storage tank, and this device is equipped with mechanical stirrer. This is the stirrer. The water entered from here. This is the inlet. Water entered from here and then mechanically stirred with the help of this stirrer. As a result of this stirring, the coagulants get mixed thoroughly with the water and comes in contact. The chemical which is called coagulant comes in contact with the impurities present in the water, and this is the outlet. From here the water containing flux go entered into the flocculator unit. This is the mixing basins equipped with mechanical devices. Flocculation. Water coming from the mixing devices entered into the flocculator unit, where the process of flocculation occurs. Flocculation is a slow mixing or agitating process in which the destablished colloidal particles are brought into intimate contact in order to promote the floc formation. In this process, the flocs are formed. The density of the flocs is greater than the density of the water and settle down in the bottom. Rate of flocculation depends upon the first one, types and amount of turbidity; the second, types of coagulant, dosage of coagulant, mean velocity gradient in basin. See here, the raw water entered from this side. This is flash mixing unit. Here the coagulant is mixed with the water with the help of this stirrer, and from here the water entered in over here. This is the high speed unit in which the speed of the stirring is high, and from here the water entered into another unit which is medium speed unit, and from here after mixing with stirrer the water entered into another unit that is called low speed unit. Here the speed of stirring will be very low. After passing through this unit, the water move to the sedimentation chamber, where the water will be provided a time to stay in the sedimentation chamber. The sedimentation process will occur. The impurities, or we can say the flux which are formed in the flocculator, will be settled down in the bottom and removed through filtration process. Clariflocculator. Clarifier and flocculator are provided in single unit, that is called clariflocculator. The flocculating chamber is provided in the center, and clarifier component is formed by the peripheral spaces. Velocity of flow of water is around 0.3 miles per minute. Mechanical scraper provided to remove sludge. In the clariflocculator, the two processes consist simultaneously. The first process occurring in the tank is the flocculation, and the second process which is joined with the flocculation unit is the clarification. Clarification process, or we can say the clarifier, is a process in which the sedimentation process will occur. See this one. This is the diagram showing the clariflocculator process. This is the inlet. Water from the source entered over here, and here it goes on the right side or the left side. This is the inlet. The suspended particles which are present in the water are allowed to settle down in the bottom. This is the bottom. The suspended particles settle down on the surface of this bottom layer on the right side as well as on the left side. That suspended particles are called sludge, and these sludge are removed through scraper and collected at the bottom over here. This is the sludge removal unit. Sludge collected over here. These sludge are removed through mechanical scraper and collected over here and removed from here. Clarifiers are settling tanks built with mechanical means for continuous removal of solid being deposited by sedimentation. A clarifier is generally used to remove solid particulates or suspended solids from liquid for clarification. Concentrated impurities discharged from the bottom of the tank are known as sludge, while the particles that float to the surface of the liquid are called scum. Over here, the scum, the fats, oil and such particles are collected and floats over here on the surface and removed through skimming process. That the material collected over the surface is called scum. Water from flocculation, or we can say cariflocculator unit, is subjected to the aeration unit. What is the function of the aeration unit? Air is diffused to the water. As a result of diffusion of air into the water, the odor of the water is removed and taste is improved. As a result of diffusion of air into the water, iron and manganese are oxidized, as well as dissolved oxygen content in the water is increased. Carbon dioxide is removed and chlorine and other flammable gases and dissolved gases are also removed during the aeration process. Type of aerators. Which type of aerators are used? There are 4 types of aerators. One is the gravity aerators, the second one is the fountain aerators, the third one is the diffused aerator, and the fourth one is the mechanical aerator. Each type will be discussed in detail. Aeration unit. Gravity aerators, cascades. Gravity aerators are called cascades. In gravity aerators, water is allowed to fall by gravity such that a large area of water is exposed to atmosphere, sometimes aided by turbulence. See over here, see the diagram. This is the diagram. The water, this is the tank. The water is outflowing from this tank and comes in contact with air. As a result of this aeration process, the oxygen from the air will be diffused into the water, and the dissolved gases, which giving the bad odor and bad taste to the water, are removed during this aeration process. This aerator unit is called gravity aerators. If the water contains some suspended particles, those particles as a result of gravity will removed in the bottom and collected in the bottom. Injection or diffused aerators. This aerator consists of a tank with perforated pipes, tubes or diffuser plates which are fixed at the bottom to release fine air bubbles from compressor unit. Time of aeration is 10 to 30 minutes and 0.2 to 0.4 liters of air is required for 1 liter of water. This is injection or diffused aerators. In this process, the air is injected into the water. The time of aeration is 10 to 30 minutes and 0.2 to 0.4 liters of air is required for 1 liter of water. If the volume of water is 1 liter, then air will be required for 1 liter of water is equal to 0.2 to 0.4 liters. fountain aerators. These are also known as spray aerators with special nozzles to produce a fine spray. Each nozzle is 2.5 to 4 centimeter in diameter, discharging about 18 to 36 liter per hour. Nozzle spacing should be such that each ml of water has aerator area of 0.03 to 0.09 m2 for 1 hour. In this process, which is called fountain aerators, the water is converted into the fountain. As a result of fountain formation, the air will be diffused into the water to improve the taste and smell of the water. The diagram is best describing the fountain aerators. Mechanical aerators. The name describing the functioning of mechanical aerators. Mixing paddles as in flocculation are used. See this one. This is a mixing panel that when water entered into this tank, which is connected with the mechanical aerators, the mechanical aerators agitate the water. As a result of mechanical aerators, the air get diffused into the water. These paddles may be either submerged or at the surface. These paddles are present at the surface of the water or the submerged into the water. As a result of mechanical agitation, the air get mixed into the water. As a result of this agitation, the quality of water, the taste and smell of the water is improved. After passing through aeration unit, the water is subjected to the filtration. The process of passing the water through the beds of granular material is known as filtration. Types of filtration: slow sand gravity filter and rapid sand gravity filter. See this one. This is the inlet. Water entered from here. This water passed through sand, then gravel, and then this is the outlet. The water which passed through the sand and then gravel, then this water is filtered with sand as well as gravel and now subjected to another unit. This diagram showing the slow sand filter SSF. This is the inlet chamber. When the water entered into the inlet chamber, then as the level of the water increases, then it goes to this surface. So this is the water, and the bottom of the tank is filled with sand. This part of the slow sand filter consists of the sand, and at the bottom of the sand there is a few layers of the gravel. So the water first passed through the sand and then through the gravel. The water which passed through sand and then gravel is nearly filtered water, and this is the outlet unit of the filtered water. Rapid sand filter. This diagram is showing the rapid sand filter. This is the inlet chamber. This chamber also contains sand and this gravel. Filtration process will occur and the speed of the water will be high. In the sand filter chamber which we have saw in previous slide was the slow sand filter chamber. This is a rapid sand filter chamber. In this chamber, the speed of the water, the flow of the water will be high. The process, the functioning of the rapid sand filter as well as the slow sand filter is the same. Water softening. This is the second last step of the water treatment process for municipal purpose. The water which came from the raw source contains some dissolved and undissolved impurities. The water passed through screening unit. In that unit, the undissolved impurities are removed. Then water passed through sedimentation unit. Sedimentation aided with coagulant flocculation unit, and then passed through the Clary flocculator chamber, and from where the suspended solids converted to the flux and removed through filtration process. The water coming from filtration process is nearly free from dissolved and undissolved impurities. That water have better taste and good smell and ready to use. But at this stage, this water is not fit for municipal purpose. The quality of water is checked, and if the water contain the chemicals, the substances or the compounds which cause hardness of water, then water before use is subjected to the water softening process. Water is said to be hard when it contains relatively large amounts of bicarbonates, carbonates, sulfates, chlorides of calcium and magnesium dissolved in it. Hardness of the water is of two types: temporary hardness as well as permanent hardness. So what is hard water? Hard water is the water which contains bicarbonates, sulfates or chlorides of calcium and magnesium dissolved in it. Temporary hardness caused by dissolved bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. This is called alkaline or carbonate hardness. The permanent hardness of water is caused by chlorides and sulfates of calcium, magnesium or some other heavy metals. It means the water containing calcium sulfate or calcium chloride as well as magnesium sulfate or magnesium chloride will be the permanent hard water. Removal of hardness. Water containing substances which cause hardness of water is subjected to the softening process. In this process, temporary as well as permanent hardness of the water is removed. Temporary hardness of water is removed by boiling and by adding lime, I mean by adding calcium oxide. As a result of adding calcium oxide is the formula of the lime. As a result of adding calcium oxide, the dissolved impurities, which is calcium bicarbonate, is converted to the calcium carbonate, and calcium carbonate is undissolved and settle down in the bottom and can be removed easily. Removal of temporary and permanent hardness. Temporary as well as permanent hardness is removed by adding lime soda process, zeolite process, that is the ion exchange process, and the third one is the demineralization or deionization process. So after passing the water through these steps, the hardness, which is either temporary in nature or the permanent in nature, is removed and water becomes soft and fit for use. Still, it can be thought that water may contain some pathogens and some disease causing bacteria. So the water before using is subjected to disinfection unit. The filtered water may normally contain some harmful disease producing bacteria and pathogens in it. These bacteria must be killed in order to make the water safe for drinking and bathing purposes. The process of killing these bacteria is known as disinfection or sterilization. Methods of disinfection. Disinfection is done by using physical method or by chemical method. The physical method which is used to disinfect the water is achieved by heating or by subjecting to ultraviolet rays. Chemical method, disinfection through chemical method is achieved by adding oxidizing chemicals and some metal ions, or by adding alkalis as well as acids. Some minor methods which can be used to kill the pathogens is boiling of water, treatment with excess lime, treatment with ozone, treatment with iodine and bromine, treatment with ultraviolet rays, and treatment with potassium permanganate. See the diagram. This is the diagram showing the principle of disinfection unit. This is the inlet of the water. This is disinfection chamber, and the water entering into the disinfection chamber is subjected to the ultraviolet rays. As a result of passing of ultraviolet rays, the pathogens present in the water are killed, and the water, after circulating around the source of the ultraviolet rays, is free of pathogens, and this is the outlet from where the water free from pathogens is collected. Methods of disinfection: boiling. The bacteria present in water can be destroyed by boiling it for a long time. However, it is not used because it is time-taking process and also fuel consumption is high. Treatment with excess lime. Lime is used in water treatment plant for softening, but if excess lime is added to the water, it can in addition kill the bacteria also. Treatment like recarbonation for lime removal should be used after disinfection. Treatment with ozone. Ozone readily breaks down into normal oxygen. The formula of the ozone is O3. So after breakdown it produces nascent oxygen and a molecular oxygen. So and release nascent oxygen. The nascent oxygen is a powerful oxidizing agent and removes the organic matter as well as the bacteria from the water. Chlorination. The most widely used method is the chlorination. The germicidal action of chlorine is explained by the recent theory of enzymatic hypothesis, according to which the chlorine enters the cell walls of bacteria and kills the enzymes which are essential for the metabolic process of living organisms, the pathogens present in the water. Assignment: how the hardness of water is removed. Explain with chemical reaction. You have to prepare the assignment and will show the removal of temporary hardness as well as permanent hardness through chemical reaction. The temporary hardness is removed by boiling, and you will show by the chemical reaction what is the action of the boiling to remove the temporary hardness. So thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.